and welcome to Past to Present, where we interview important historical figures from the past, present, and future. Today, we have a very special guest, all the way from 1815 France. Please welcome Napoleon Bonaparte! Hello, Napoleon, and how are you today?
Yes, hello. Good.
Good. Now, Napoleon, we have some questions to ask of you.
Is that not why I'm here?
Of course it is. Now, if you could change anything about your personal life, what would it be?
I would have married someone other than Josephine, for she was unable to give me a son. I would also have married earlier, so I would have a son earlier.
Yes, that would help with having him named emperor earlier. What about your career? What would you have changed about that?
I would have never fallen from power. I would have remained emperor until my son was old enough to take my place. Also, I wouldn't have lost the Battle of Waterloo.
Good choices, Napoleon. Now, what would you say is your greatest strength?
I would have to say the greatest contributing factor of my success is courage.
Napoleon, do you have a weakness or a personal fault?
Everyone does.
Could you share some of yours with us?
I would have to say greed is my biggest personal flaw. Although it's got me pretty far, so I don't have much to complain about.
Well said, Napoleon. Now just a couple more questions. First of all, what would you say is your best and worst battle?
Best would have to be the battle in December of 1805. We defeated the Russians and the Austrians despite the fact that we were outnumbered.
That makes sense. What about your worst?
My worst, of course, is the last battle I fought, just under a week ago at Waterloo. It was a crushing loss, and because of it, I'm being forced to abdicate my position.
One more question for you, Napoleon. What would you say is your greatest overall contribution to history?
It's hard to say because it's all quite recent to me. Don't know what will be remembered, but I think my greatest contribution was curating the legal code for France. Dare I ask if it is still in use today?
Yes. In fact, with very few minor changes, your legal code is still in place in France, and it has inspired a lot of Europe to adopt similar ways. Thank you so much for coming here today, Napoleon.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now it's time to take you back to France.
Okay.
Come on. Thank you for that interview, Napoleon. Now we are in our East Souk location to interview some people about their opinions on Napoleon. Please welcome Kiana. So how are you today, Kiana?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. And what would you say is your general opinion on Napoleon?
I think he was a hero, and I think he did many great things for his country.
What would you say was Napoleon's greatest achievement overall?
I think that it was ending the French Revolution, and how he did it.
Do you think the world would be worse off or better off had Napoleon never even been born?
I think the world would definitely be worse off, because we don't really know when the French Revolution would have finished, or what the French government would be like today.
Mm-hmm. Would you consider yourself a reliable source of information?
Yes, I would.
And why is that?
Well, I have been a big fan of Napoleon for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have committed to researching all the great deeds that he's done, from rebuilding France to fighting courageously for his country.
Thank you so much for your time, Kiana.
My pleasure, anytime.
Thank you for that interview, Kiana. Now, we have one more person to interview about their opinion on Napoleon. Please welcome Maya. How are you today, Maya?
Good.
Good. What would you say is your general opinion on Napoleon?
He is a villain. He was very greedy. He did so many orders to kill so many people.
Do you think the world would be better or worse if Napoleon had never been born?
I think the world would be better.
And why is that?
Because he wouldn't kill so many of people.
Would you consider yourself a reliable source of information about Napoleon?
Yes, I would.
And why is that?
Because I have researched all of his awful things that he has done. And I know how bad he is.
That's a very good point, Maya. Thank you for coming here today, and thank you for your time.
You're welcome.